Well, hello church family. Welcome to the fourth video in our series about politics and the church. Now in this series, we've been seeking to do two things. First, we're trying to look at our political engagement through the lens of God's Word. And second, we're hoping to spark better conversations between Christians about political issues. And in this episode, we are going to be primarily focusing on the themes of truth and party loyalty. Now, there is this pattern that often occurs in political discussions. It begins when someone points out hypocrisy in one political party. And then what happens is someone else, without admitting any wrongdoing whatsoever, immediately points to hypocrisy within the other political party. You see, accusations of lying are a regular part of our political discourse. And this is sad. But perhaps sadder is the fact that these accusations rarely change our perspectives because we expect dishonesty and hypocrisy from our politicians. You see, far too often in our nation, political loyalty motivates us more than the truth does. And for Christians, this is a deep concern because we can't effectively declare God's truth if we are worshiping at the altar of politics like everyone else is. We won't stand out if we are playing the same political games that everyone else is playing. See, indifference to the truth is incompatible with the character of Christ. Politics can blind us to the truth like few other things can. But Jesus wants to remove the political scales from our eyes. You see, the Apostle Paul writes this in Romans chapter 12, verse 2. He says, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect." You see, God renews our minds with His truth. And people who follow the way, the truth, and the life must value truth above party loyalty. Now, what does it look like for us to value truth in our political lives? Well, first, I believe it means that we must be honest about the flaws in our favored politicians. We can't make excuses when our favored politician says something or does something that's wrong. If we are committed to the truth, we will condemn sin wherever it exists. If we are loyal to Jesus, we won't engage in these tit-for-tat hypocrisy arguments to defend our flawed human rulers. We will readily admit the flaws of those in our own political camp. You see, Christians must be able to affirm good and condemn evil wherever it exists. Someone who thinks about politics as a Christian will critique their political brothers and will affirm their political others. You see, when we dislike a politician, it can be hard to offer them praise for something good that they do. But Christians must be able to do this. If we value truth, we will also use caution and verify when we encounter political news reports. You know, we tend to believe things that confirm our prior perspectives, and we tend to reject things that don't. You see, if the villain of a news story is our preferred villain, we are likely to believe the story. But for Christians, this isn't acceptable. We shouldn't share stories that we don't know are true. It can be difficult to know what to believe sometimes these days. I totally get that. And sometimes it takes a lot of work to determine what is actually true. But if we want to speak out, we must be willing to verify. Our commitment to Jesus, who is the truth, demands it. You see, brothers and sisters, we must resist the blindness brought by party loyalty. And we shouldn't overlook sin in our own political camp. Because when we excuse evil, we do damage to our souls. And when Christians do this, they disparage the church in the eyes of the world. We must be led by our Christian convictions, not by the ever-shifting signals of our political tribe. We must let our faith be the anchor that grounds us. Otherwise, we'll get swept up into political movements that dishonor God. You see, no party and only one person is worthy of our complete loyalty, and He is the truth. Well, I'm very excited to let you know that in our next 2 videos, we will have a chance to hear some wisdom from our elders about politics. So I encourage you to stay tuned for that. I hope you have a great day, and God bless.